Welcome to listen to the Green Bean Podcast with Adrian and friends, and I'm your host Adrian Green, along with our co-host
Maddie Cupcakes.
and our guest for today,
Johnny Vannier.
Johnny Vannier.
Johnny
For
V.
some reason, I don't know why I thought the proper way to say your name was Vannier.
It actually is. It is French.
Okay.
No, that is actually the way you're supposed to pronounce it, but it got Americanized when it came over this way.
So, what is your heritage?
Oh, this is a great question. It's going to be French, Indian, and Mexican.
Cool.
Part of the Caddo Nation.
Nice.
Yes. I have a
Sweet.
card and everything.
What? You have a
He's
card?
got-
Yeah.
You have a card? You're a card carrying member
Yeah.
of the Cato Nation?
Yes.
Prove it.
Prove it.
Caddo, okay.
You gonna pull his
Caddo.
card?
Excuse me.
Are you gonna pull his
Caddo.
card right now? You pulling his card?
Is it- did you
I
say
don't
it
have.
was
Yeah, I have it saved. I kind of have to. It's important to.
Is it a fingerprint app? Like it has to make
No.
sure it's Johnny Vannier.
It's
Actually,
because of
it
a lot of
has.
white people trying to be Indians.
Oh wait, hold on. I actually sent it to somebody. I can find it faster now. I just remember that I sent it to somebody to prove that I actually am Native American, because a lot of people like to throw that around.
Wow.
I know, right?
That is cool.
So would
Right.
your wife be your squaw?
That, you know what? I'm gonna be honest. I don't know that much about Native American
fucking
culture, so I don't know what that means. But yes, I will say that she is now in my tribe.
Oh, are you an Indian outlaw? Cherokee and Choctaw.
Well, he's Kate.
He's
Caddo.
Caddo. It's
Caddo.
got
Caddo.
Cherokee and Caddo.
I don't know the reference. Are you older than me?
It's a Tim McGraw song.
Oh, that's why. Okay. Seems like
Are you not a
seems
country
like
fan?
no. I like country. It just seems like that was from the
It
'90s.
is. It's a 90s song. Because, you know, God forbid they make an Indian outlaw song today.
Oh, right. Okay.
That song's
no,
probably
that,
not allowed to be played on mainstream.
No, that makes
Oh, we played it.
no. That makes sense now. Indian Outlaw. I remember that now. Oh, okay. It's like my
Fun
childhood
song.
came back. Wow.
Riding in the car listening with my mom to semi-racist music. Oh, we're progressive.
What's like the weirdest question about your heritage that you've been asked, or like once people find out you're Native American?
Oh, okay. Do you get benefits? Does the casino pay you? What's the other one?
Did you go to college for free?
No.
Oh,
Okay.
You
So
have that option.
I think I do. Like again, here's the thing. I've had that card forever, and I've hardly ever pulled that card out. Like, you know, people have like, oh, I'm a black card or I'm a Mexican. I very rarely pull out the Indian card, and only here recently had I pulled it out for insurance. So there was a point where I'm sitting there like, don't we get something for insurance? And then when that box came up, what are you? I'm like, I'm Native American. Click. And then sure enough, the next box is like, prove it. And I'm like, oh, I got something for you.
Nice.
Yes.
So how long have you known Johnny, Adrian? I
I
know I've known Johnny like, what, 9 months now, something like that.
Seems about 9 months.
I've known Johnny for 5 years. Going on 5 years, because I met you at my very first show at the Tilted Mug because you were hosting.
Oh.
Was that when we met?
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't at the Desert Flower?
Nope. We
For
met.
an open mic?
Mhm.
I felt like we met first for an open mic.
We met at the Tilted Mug in San Angelo. It was LaRon White. Right. That
I-
was the headliner.
Yes, and I remember LaRon needed to go to the restroom.
Yeah. So Mike had booked me based off of my performance at the talent show where I got like fan favorite on a trip to Vegas and or when tickets to go see Cher or whatever. And he goes, great, are you available for this date? It was like October 20 something. And I go, yeah. And he goes, okay, great. He goes, 20 minutes. And I was like, and I was like, I could probably do like 12.
Yeah.
And he goes, okay. He goes, well, just let me know what you need. He goes, what you have, and we'll make up the rest. And I go, okay. I don't think anybody told LaRon that because he was like, I'm still in the bathroom.
Because then I bring up LaRon's up there, and I gotta go to the restroom, guys. I'm so sorry. And it's like, and he takes off to the restroom, and then like I'm sitting there, and I'm like, it's kind of a rookie move on my part. I should have just jumped up there and been like, and just bullshit my way through another, whatever, how long he took to go to the restroom.
Yeah.
I can do it now for sure. I would feel comfortable enough to actually just fill a dead time. But at the time, I was just like, oh no. Was I host or was it
Yeah.
Mike that was? No, I
You
was.
were hosting,
Okay.
Yeah. Yep.
That's like one of my greatest fears is having to go to the bathroom on stage. But I'm only there for 5 minutes, as I was pointing out to you.
It's a loose 5.
A loose 5.
It's a loose 5 picture there.
It's a loose 5.
We had a conversation about type 5s, and we had a disagreement about where we were.
I mean,
Leah was there too.
if she's a 5 but tight, I get it. I mean, that's, I don't know why you guys didn't see that. Like, it's right there.
I think the discussion was more of
What does that
my
mean?
type 5 is like my type, and the answer is no. My flatty.
We're flat and 5.
Did your wife tell you this? Is this what I'm being told? Okay.
We were talking about set time, or like, type 5 and, jokes or whatever. I was telling him about somebody else that had asked me if they could get booked on the show, and he's like, I've never done stand-up comedy before. How much time do I need to think about a headliner? And I was like, excuse me?
There's levels to the game.
Yeah.
Oh, there's levels to this shit.
There's insane that.
I know. I felt like it's a bingo card right now. But
Right.
you folks at home, there's a bingo card, and if there's levels to this.
There will be.
It's
It's
on
almost
there.
like a free space.
That's the free space. Yeah, there's levels of the free space.
Yeah,
Like
because
it's gonna get said.
it's like this. Like a headliner will probably have about 3 or 4 hours of material, but then out of that 3 or 4 hours is actually an hour of solid material, and then out of that hour there's probably maybe 20 minutes that's just really killer, and then there's probably 5 minutes that is just unbelievably unstoppable. That's just undeniable funny.
So the way I was describing the type 5 is like you can take your type 5 and go just about any situation and just have it rolling.
What the type, yes, exactly. What the type 5 is for, even just a tight minute, or the one joke that if you need, just the one bit that you have that when that room is just getting away from you, it's just, you don't know, like, and then all of a sudden you go, I got it. And then you hit it, and then when you hit it, it brings them all back. You have them all nice, they're all settled in, they're all listening to you, they're all paying attention. And when you get that momentum building, now the trick is going to become, how do you keep that momentum going and keep building it till the end of your set?
Yes.
I mean, I had my tight ugly girl at the JJ show. I would call it my tight ugly girl because it was only a tight 2, but I mean, she was still tight. But, like,
Oh, man.
like, because I felt that, like, I think that's the first time I've actually felt the room changing on me during the set. Like, I made a joke and I did the thing that you look at me real funny every time I say this, and I tried some new shit. Like I tried a new one-liner in a particular part of my show, and it did not. I felt the joke turn, and I was like, it's about to crash.
Okay.
And I was like, move on to the next joke.
What you just described there, it's like when you first start, there's just so many nerves, so much things. So like your actual ability to read the audience, get a feel for the audience isn't there. But once you've done it a few times, now you're a little more comfortable. Now you're able to actually read the audience. Then you really start picking up on when they turn, when something's not landing. And then the other thing too is just, man, like when you're trying new material, it really is best to do those at an open mic. If you're gonna do it,
that's the look. If you saw that look, that's the look right there. For folks watching at home,
We're gonna crop that look.
that's
Zoom
the
in.
look. Now, not to say that you couldn't do new material at a show. It's just you gotta have some real experience in that tight 5 or that tight joke that you go, okay, if this bombs, I can pull it back. Because that's also a style of comedy where you lose the audience and you bring them back, you lose them, then you bring them back.
I just got very lucky.
Yeah. And like if you sandwich it, like if I've heard of some people that are like, oh, I don't have any open mics in my area, but I do a lot of hosting or whatever.
Right.
Like they'll sandwich a new joke in between 2 solid jokes.
Right.
So like you said, like you have them, you might lose them, but you bring them back.
Bring them back, yeah.
We're putting on a clip for this at home, by the way.
I mean, I'm still learning. I mean, I've been at it. Oh my God. Okay, so I started in May or June of 2015.
Wow.
Back in, at a sports bar in Odessa, Texas called 10 Sports Bar and Grill. And that's where I really cut my teeth. That's for a good solid year. I went up every Wednesday night. And then there was a couple of open mics that started around the area. So I would go out to Lubbock or to Midland had one at a coffee shop called The Ground Floor. And so it was like 2 or 3 times a week for 52 weeks. I remember this very distinctly because I can go back on my old recordings and you can see the dates.
Yeah.
And it was like weekly. You can just see just 2 or 3 sets every week. And it's like 5 to 10 minutes of doing that. And I'd say that's where I really got my legs under me for that 1 year of doing that for like strict. But it's only here this past year that I think that I'm starting to get back to where I was before the pandemic. Because before the pandemic, I was really like sharp. I was really solid. Like I felt like that I could do 15 minutes in my sleep. Like it didn't matter what I was going through, whatever was happening. I know as soon as I hit the stage, I was going to be able to rip for 15 minutes. And then when the pandemic started, kind of took that break. And then when I started back again this year, man, it's been a rough couple of months. But now I think only in these last couple of shows do I feel like I got my legs back under me again. Where I feel like I can actually go up there and not have that fear, have the confidence of just like, does not matter what happens, doesn't matter if I forget a joke or if I forget a punchline, I'm gonna be able to like rip and riff and like improvise in the moment, be in the moment with the audience. And that's what I'm trying to get to again, where it's like I can just be in the moment, does not matter what's happening to us. Or to me, I should say, us, the audience, however, like trying to be one with that audience, they're with me, they're looking at them, like locked in with them, and I know the next thing I'm going to say, I'm going to get that laugh, and when I get that laugh, I'm like, all right, there's the confidence, there it is, and just keep going.
I feel like I am not there yet. I feel like I'm very much like on a, I don't want to say a script, but I have the outline in my head. I'm like, okay, I got to stick to it. And I want to work on being more interactive. I think I can do like maybe 1 or 2 exchanges or whatever, but that's probably about it. And then, because I feel like I have a short memory, so like my memory is like based on numbers. So like whenever I'm like grabbing things to head out the door, I'm like, okay, phone, keys, and then if I pick up a water bottle, like something's going down. I'm like, okay, I'm good, I'm out the door. So then whenever I do my set, I'm like, okay, there's like 7 things in my set, like 1, 2, 3, and then like I'll start counting interaction. Like, I think I'm done.
Oh, okay.
So I get thrown off, and I want to do more crowd work. I haven't had a lot of experience with that, and I'm hoping we'll get some people in to our open mics that we do.
Right.
So we can kind of
I've definitely seen you do crowd work before, and what I've seen has been good. You know what I'm saying? I haven't just seen you bomb with the crowd. I mean, I know you've seen me like just lay down and die.
I felt like I was bombing at the showroom.
The showroom.
That's actually
that was a hard place.
That's a tough room. It was the first show, the first outing, and there's still a lot of kinks that needed to be worked out. But the last one, she brought out that gentleman, Jeremy Brown. That dude was a real legit headliner. Like he had it. Like he really had it for a full set up there on that 3rd floor balcony / patio. It shouldn't be called rooftop. Sorry, shut up. But sorry. It's because it confuses people to go to the 10th floor, and it's just
and they're like walking around.
Yeah. 3rd floor funny.
The third floor funny.
Yeah, hey, I'm just trying to slap.
The 3rd floor, haha.
Yeah, just because when you say 3rd floor, then when people get to the venue, they go, "Oh, 3rd floor."
3rd floor. Yeah.
It just anyway, just spitballing ideas, but oh, crowd work. Yeah, that's what we were talking. Yeah, crowd work. It's funny because like I think someone will say that I do crowd work, but I don't consider it crowd work, and I think a little bit of inside baseball. I think is that when a comedian looks like they're doing crowd work, it's really a magic trick. Because when you do it enough times, you kind of already have in your back pocket the jokes when you look at an audience. Like, you see somebody that is, I don't know, a certain color or an ethnic hair color, whatever, you kind of have those jokes already in your back pocket. So when you see it, you spot it out. It seems like you're going off the cuff, when really you're not. Like, if you see an interrace couple, obviously, you should sit down and write jokes about an interrace couple, all different mix and matches, and have those in your back pocket. And then not only that, like when you have a joke and you go to the open mics and you've been heckled over that joke, like when I talk about being a Mexican, I can kind of read an audience and I can kind of know when they're thinking, oh, he's a coconut. So then when I go, I beat them to that punch of like, oh, I'm a coconut, and then it's like, immediately any heckler, anybody that wants to say something, it's like, oh, he already said it.
Right.
So it may seem like it's just in the moment, but it is in the moment. I already have it in the back pocket, and it's just that timing of. So that's a little bit of the inside baseball. So it looks like crowd work, but really what it is just you've done it so many times, you've seen so many situations play out that you're already able to beat them to the punch.
Yeah, I've also heard that pretty very similar to that is that people do crowd work when you're doing crowd work or starting off crowd work or whatever. You should look to do things that you can slip into your
Yes.
routine. So like how long I've been married or whatever, all right, and then like you
That sets you up for
easily go into your bits that you have about marriage or about marriage,
exactly.
dating, whatever.
The other thing too is when you're trying to put material together, is do it in a way to where the one joke leads into the next joke, so that way when you finish one joke, you kind of have one or two jokes that you go either this one or that one, depending on how the crowd is reacting.
Right.
So like if you're doing like dead baby jokes and the crowd doesn't like that, all right, now we're gonna do puppy jokes. You know what I mean? Like,
Dead puppy joke.
I didn't say dead puppies. I just said if you're doing dead baby jokes and they don't like that, then you do happy puppy jokes. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You flip it real quick so that way.
At Eccentric, I was like very inspired to do dark jokes, and I was like, I have some, and I feel like the time is now to drop them.
Yeah.
And it was not.
It was not.
And I was like, oh, sorry,
Danger
John.
Will.
Oh, was that the show I was on?
Mhm.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I don't remember what your dark jokes were, but I remember I went up there and I told a Barbie joke.
The blue Barbie joke that I was kind of like, oh.
See, that's the set that I felt like I got my legs back under me.
I could tell.
That was the set where I'm like, okay, because there were a couple of bits that I tried at open mics that I've tried and I couldn't quite figure them out, and then when I was in the moment, I figured them out.
Was that did I see you perform that show? And I was like,
Yeah.
that's awesome.
Yeah.
And like I told you that, like,
Yeah.
I really felt like that's when I felt you rocking and rolling really well.
Yes, that's even then, like there was a couple of jokes I've always had in the back pocket I never did because I was doing new stuff. I was trying to figure out stuff with those other mics, but then when I did that show, that's when I dusted off those old jokes that I knew pretty well, and that's why it looked the way it did. Is like, oh, he's really rocking and rolling with that. No, that's because I had this material that I've been sitting on. It's just this other material that I was really working on trying to hammer together.
Right. You were just trying to get it to flow together, and like, okay, so I've seen Johnny at all these other mics, you know, just so people know, you know, like I've seen Johnny at all these other mics, and I'm just like, and then I go and see him perform, and it's totally polar opposites and everything, and I'm like, where is this material to open mics? Well, it's already been worked on. It's already been honed. Mm-hmm. He's honing his art for his next 10 or his next 15
exactly.
to add to this. You know, he's trying to get stuff that complements these jokes.
Exactly.
And I think that's the art. You know, I can tell you as a new comedian and seeing that in where, like, I'm just working on my type 5. Not my loose 5. We've established I have a loose 5 for the viewers at home. And you know, in some of my jokes, you know, like there's some fat that needs to be trimmed. You know, like I can think of one joke right now off the top of my head that I'm absolutely going to cut the end out of it off and actually reform the joke to some earlier stuff. And it's when I come on stage. And it's the joke I use when I come on stage.
Yeah, and you have to realize too, like the only reason I have that much material that I can just sit on is because just how many mics I've been hitting and how serious I've been at it, you know, week in, week out. So that way it's like when I do hit a show, I can dust that stuff off. Like I think the mic before that show, I kind of really did kind of a run through of that material, that type of set I was going to do. And then later when I listen back to it, I'm like, all right, so there's these jokes that are shaky, but I think I can fix it in the moment. I think once I get the crowd on my side, I can go into these other jokes, like the dark jokes and stuff like that. And then I go, okay, even if those fail at that show, I can still swing it back and like you said, sandwich it, and still end on a great, heavy, hard note of, you know, real laughter, and then I can get off stage and go, oh, that was good.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Like, I mean, I've definitely seen you like wiggle here for a second and go, oh no, and then bring it like that.
Yeah.
You know, like and come out of it for you know, fairly decent. I mean, fairly decent is the wrong word.
No.
You're gonna come out. You come out very well and polished.
There's levels to this game, and you were right.
Bingo.
Sing.
And
I got you good, fucker.
And my next step is I'm trying to find a bit that's worthy enough to hump the stool. That's what I want.
Leave it at home. That's my stool. That's my bitch.
Oh man.
Y'all guys can see stool humping at any show that I'm probably going to be on ever. Once I get a type 5 and start getting booked in Big Spring where I live.
I'll be like, man, the only thing tight is that stool.
Even she's loose.
One of the things I remember whenever I think about you performing, I remember our time at the Desert Flower, and one time you came in, and it was before COVID, and it was probably around like November or something, around Thanksgiving or whatever, and you came in and you like, I don't know, you had like something on your mind or whatever, you started talking like politics, and you were ranting. It was an angry rant.
It was no, I know exactly which specific set you're talking about. It was after COVID.
Was it?
Because I was looking at people, and like one of the opening jokes is like I told the audience, I was like, you know, something about, you know, something. It was just, I looked at everybody and I'm like, oh, a bunch of canaries in a coal mine here. Ooh. Because, you know, we're supposed to be locked down, and this is Texas, and this is, you know, small town Texas.
That's right.
So I was like, oh, a bunch of canaries in the coal mine here, and then I forgot how I got to that punch, but when I did that, I saw everyone kind of haha, and then I had stuff about like, because the riots were going on, I was talking about let's burn down a cop car.
That's right.
Yes.
Yes. That was
yeah,
good.
man, I've been at this for a while.
I know, that's good though.
Yeah, like I remember just like the energy you had with that. It wasn't dark, but it was like borderline.
I mean, it
could have gone darker. But I was just like, we were like, me and Sergio were like, whoa, where did this fucking Johnny come from? We like it.
Johnny jumps up and surprises you.
What's funny about that? Do you guys know who Joey Diaz is? He's a stand-up comic. Okay. Yeah. Well, before my set, he posted something on Instagram or something, and he basically did a pep talk about, and I forget what the pep talk was, but he got me so fired up. And then it was like, he goes, "You gotta get out there, live your life. You gotta do your thing, dog." And then he goes, you know, when they come knocking, and then like, you know, you could hear Lisa in the background knocking, yelling, "Police, police!" And then Joey Diaz like, "I gotta go, guys," and then he leaves off camera, and it's like, oh shit, I'm like, it's time to go.
It's
so
good.
Let's go. Speaking of go time, when we get comics on here, I always like to ask them,
okay,
what is it? The day of, the hour before, the 2 hours before. What's your ritual?
Oh, that's a great question. I had different rituals at different eras of so far what I've done. One time when I started at 10 Sports Bar and Grill, it was a bar that I would just drink at all the time. And when they started they started an open mic, and when they started it, I mean, I was already getting drunk and trashed before I even got up. So they had these drink specials. I forget, they were either $3 or $4, and it was Long Island iced teas. What was the other one? I forget. Pixie Stick, I want to say, and then the other one was called Quaaludes. And it's like, the Quaalude is just like a Long Island, but it's really just these different liqueurs that it's like 3 or 4, maybe 5 liqueurs. You see them just pour it up in a tall glass, or just a regular pint really with ice. And I would have like 3 or 4 of those, and I'd probably be on drink 2 or 3 before I went on stage. So I would have to say I started out drinking, and I'd say the buzz would really hit me when I was on stage. And that's what I got used to doing, was drinking and performing, then drinking afterwards.
So I know we're gonna get into a bit of all that coming up, but you know, like
the process, and then
what is it now?
And then after that era, I had a hat era where I would wear a hat, and my thing was I was wearing the hat before I go on stage, I turn it backwards.
Like over the top? Or you like
yes.
you like Sylvester Stallone, like in there, like it's my hat, it's like a switch.
Yeah. And then
have you seen Over the Top? You got it, like put that on your movie list. If I've got to watch horror movies, you've got to watch crappy Sylvester Stallone movies.
It is not crappy. Okay.
It's about a kid and his dad living in a freaking
Okay. Let me fight for this movie real quick. Okay.
18-wheeler.
Okay. So
an arm wrestling championship.
So let me tell you the state of writing at that time. Let me tell you the storyline, the actual story and plot, and like everything that built up for that is probably some of the best writing you'll ever see.
No,
it's a father and son story.
Did Sylvester Stallone write this one too?
Maybe. I
really am like a fan of Sylvester Stallone. Like after finding out the story behind Rocky, like
this movie had heart, Matt.
I don't. I've seen it about 1,000 times. I know. Like
you're right.
Crappy B pro wrestler had a role.
Wait,
you're right.
Is it like one of those stories where like if you had a good dad, you're like, man, that's a damn good story, or if you didn't have a dad, you're like, I wish I had a dad.
Or I wish my dad was like that.
What it was, like what it was, it's a dad that wasn't able to be there in his son's life. I forget exactly what the convoluted story was to get to that point, but he's not a bad guy. Not like he didn't want his son around. It's just there was just these other forces at play that kept him away from his son.
I think
evil forces.
I think it was like the rich father-in-law.
Exactly.
You know the white. You know the rich
and the blue collar guy trying to make it work.
All right, so to circle back, yes.
Very Caddyshack.
So if I'm wearing a hat, I do the hat backwards before I go on stage. I trust it. It is actually that's actually a thing that sports psychologists will talk about. That before you perform, you got to have that little ritual that you say is your switch. Like John Jones before he goes in the octagon, before he steps, like when he's through the curtain or before he does this thing where he tilts his head back, puts his arms out, and he like twirls around like 3 times. Oh. Like he's taking it in. Like this is him and this is his. So when he does that, that's when he's locked in the zone. That's Conor McGregor's is where when he walks into the cage, he crawls in, does that thing. So that's like his way of getting into that mind space. So for me, before I go on stage, I do try to make it a point to go. I'm locked in. I'm ready to go to work.
If you go up on stage, I'm not losing shit. I really will.
You gotta do the Exorcist crawl though, like that.
I won't stay. But like, I know the day before, like just to share with you, the day before, like the morning of, like I wake up super early. I mean, it's like an all-day thing. Like I have to be in a good mood all day. Like I told you at the last show. I think it was Stephanie I was texting, and I was like, I've been pacing the floor all morning, just like it was like 6 months ago, and everything. And she goes, it's not gonna go away. She goes, I pace the floor too.
Yeah, no, it never goes away. For me, it's like usually going back, listening to old sets, just to refresh that polished material, that material that I sit on that I don't do that often. Because if you do get rust, like if you haven't done a material in a long time, and then you decide to dust it off, and then you get to a certain point, you're like, oh, what's the next part? What's the next part? What's the next part? No, this is the punch. No, I have it in front of me, and then it's like. You're just smiling at the audience and looking at you, and it's this awkward pause, and you're just like, oh no, now I gotta bail out of this. It's like, no, now I gotta rebuild momentum. No, and then.
Do you ever like retell a joke? Like you just get into like the motion, like just going through the motions. You're on autopilot, and then you hear yourself repeating. You're like, seeing your paying attention.
I don't know if I have. Now that I'm really thinking hard about it, like I've had moments of like, have I done that one? Have I done that one? Oh, I don't remember if I've done that one. Oh, I don't know. I won't do it then.
I just have moments where like I forget, like I'll forget like the short joke, like the mid joke or whatever.
Yeah.
Especially like shows like at the first rooftop show.
Yeah.
We were at where we were rushing to get started.
Yeah, yeah. Like I said,
I forgot a lot of material on that show. I scrubbed like a whole joke out of that thing because it was almost like we got up there, or I got up there, and you got up there, and it was almost time to just like get up there and sit down.
Yeah, no, we
it's
had
what it felt like.
We had short sets. Shona made sure she goes, okay, you guys are gonna go, before the show. You guys are only gonna get like 5 or 3 minutes or something. Is what she said.
And I'm not digging at that. that, by the way. That's just what you gotta do sometimes.
Yeah, it's just you gotta respect the person that puts it on. If they put all that work into it and they give you a lineup, there's a reason why they put you first, or there's a reason why they.
Oh, lineups are there for a reason.
Yeah.
I mean, if anybody has taught me that, it's Stephanie.
See, that's the other thing too. The lineup, as much as it is to help the show, it's also to protect the comic, especially if you have a really tight 5 and then now you're going to expect them to stretch to 15. It's like, that's not fair to them. It's not fair to the audience.
That's at least
It doesn't, it's not great to do that. So again, when someone knows what they're doing, like someone like Stephanie, and she gets that lineup put out, and that's the other thing too. She and I talk a lot about lineups. We talk about we kind of go, okay, so, and then even me, who's been doing it for a while, when she's like, hey, I want you to kick this off, I want you to start. It's not a blow to my ego. I don't care. Yeah, I'm a good start off guy. I have a really good hard 5, and I get to at least tempt or touch some new material and really test it in front of an actual audience.
Right.
Again, because I have the ability to sandwich, I have the ability to bring it back if it doesn't work. And then not only that, I can handle a bomb. I'm not gonna quit because I bombed, because that's, some people really can't handle a bomb. Imagine knowing that you're really good, knowing you have really good material, and it's just not working.
And you're bombing and you just freeze. I've had it happen. I have had to there was an eccentric show. I think you were there, and it was in the beginning.
Right.
It was my 3rd or 4th time up there, and I was and I just stalled and froze, and it was a good minute of probably 5 seconds, but I was kind of
yeah.
Well, that's my time. I'm gonna go sit down now.
Right.
In shame.
Right.
Whenever I feel myself starting to crash, it's because my mouth goes dry. It's my body's ooh, we crashing hard, and then I can't even get the words out. I'm
Right.
Yeah. Got cotton mouth.
Oh my
God. It's going over the set list, because I'm trying to now do a thing where I have a master list of most of my material out, just so that way I can look over that and I kind of have that in my head mentally, like a mental list that I'm going through.
Yeah, I'm definitely going through my notes.
Yeah,
I'm
exactly.
I'm going over. I that master list I carried out my notes on my phone. I'm going through that 3-4 times. Revising what's new on this list, what's old.
Yeah.
What haven't I pulled in a while. That's what I look at. I try to look at. I mean, I'm not so I'm just 9 months in here and ready to go on to me, at least 5.
You have to understand, when we had that conversation, I was losing. I was because we had an actual phone conversation about that. You go, yeah, Johnny, I'm ready to go on tour, and it's everything in me to be like, Matt, stop. I was
You should have just said it. Just said shut up.
I know. I should be more honest with newer comics, but it's just.
But you don't know. You don't know. You gotta handle them with soft hands or.
Well, because
real hands.
Because in our scene, we need comics to fill time sometimes. We just need bodies in order to put a show together.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Hey.
That's your comment. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
Well then, this has been the Green King Podcast with Adrian Green and Just Matt.
Okay, here's the thing. I'm not a headliner yet, so I have a decent 15, and I'm putting a show together, and I'm trying to do a showcase. So I'm doing 15 minutes, so then that means I'm going to need at least 4 guys. So I'm going to need 3 other guys that have 15.
Yeah.
But then it's how many other guys are going to have a really tight 15? Probably not. So the showcase is now going to be 5 to 6 people, and they're probably going to get 10 to 5 minutes.
Yeah.
In order to fill out the hour. So someone like you that's new, that's coming up, it's hey, you're going to be on the beginning of the lineup, and you're going to get 5 minutes.
Right.
So that's my point.
No, I get the lumps, and the lumps in the come up and all that stuff, cutting your teeth and stuff like that. I get that.
Yeah.
And that's I get things with both feet running.
Yeah.
Stephanie was on this very podcast, and because the way I met Matt was, he was ready to go on tour the day I met him. Here's his.
You're a comedian. I'm a comedian.
Let's go.
Well, see, that's the thing. It's
Hit all open mics.
Well, that's the thing. Whenever we get someone new that comes into the scene, especially out here in West Texas, it's I don't want to turn them away immediately. I don't want to immediately make them jaded or because it's this is such a tough road. It was so hard. Like I said, I started back in 2015, and here I am now. There were so many times, even me, that was maybe I should be done with this. This is just a hobby. It shouldn't, because it's man, I've got these other things in my life I need to focus on. Maybe maybe this isn't for me. So with that thought process, it's like even me, so now a new person that, you know, that's never handled a bomb or never faced a bomb, but then finally feels that feeling, and then like having to go through those nerves every time. Like there was this one comic, I mean, she was pretty good, but she started it because her therapist recommended it to her as a form of therapy. But then she quit, and I tried to talk her back into it. She's like, Johnny, I can't do this because like this is causing anxiety. This was supposed to alleviate anxiety. This is supposed to do this. This is what I did it for, and now I'm freaking out over me doing my set, me doing well, and it's like this is no longer fun for me.
So,
and you know, when someone tells me that, what am I going to do to bring them out of that? And that's when I have to be like, you know what, you're right. You know, this is your journey, and I can't force you on stage. I can't make someone do something.
So for me, like, yes, it is therapeutic. It is all of that. And I really hit this like hard over the summer. You know, like we were 4 or 5 days a week going to open mics. Like, I mean, I go to Lubbock, here, there, and everywhere. And now, since everything's in my life's going on, and we've had to step back, and I'm more local and everything, it has helped us develop more here at home, which I'm
as well as you should.
I'm very grateful for the 2 open mics we have going on here and the shows.
No, exactly. The mics that you have going on here is really going to help develop the scene here, and I do need to pop in over here. It's just that hour drive, and I work overnight. You know, it's just there's. So it's like
we get it. Trust us.
Yeah, it's like I need to do this.
We did it all summer.
Oh, I know. I used to go to Lubbock all the time.
Grinding's hard.
That's the thing. The grind out here is really severe. Cause
like people are like, oh, you can just go to Lubbock and get on the stage. It's not just go to Lubbock.
It's the 4-hour drive.
It's 4 hours of turnaround. I mean, it's telling your wife you're leaving for 4 hours to go to Lubbock to stand on a stage for 5 to 10 minutes.
Yeah,
to run material. And that's if they have like 5 to 10 minutes worth of time. They may have like enough people that you only get 3 minutes.
Yep.
To tell one joke and everything. But I think we've talked long enough to take a break and everything, and then we'll come back and get into some of your hardships.
Okay.
Like we're gonna get into meat and potatoes. I wanted to kind of get into what you were talking about a second ago. So
okay.
We'll be back in 1 second.
You're listening to the Green Bean Podcast with Adrian and Friends.